congratulations on the film. I've got to say, it is huge fun. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You've had a very extensive career as an animator.
Yeah.
I wondered why you decided it was time to direct.
Well, look, yeah, you're right. I started as an animator, and I mean, I have always been someone who likes to learn. When I start to not learn anymore, I just kind of want to move on to the next thing. And turns out, after being an animator, I just, became a supervising animator and then head of animation at the studio, because the whole point was kind of to challenge myself. And then, for some reason, ended up directing a short film called Bilby, and that really stuck with me because there is a creative freedom. There's a creative freedom for sure, but it's mostly the all the different things that you have to touch as a director, and those are like so many different aspects of filmmaking, and you have to, all development of characters, the storyboards, the story, the script, the directing the actors, and it's like looking at the whole production and the whole pipeline of animation and music and sound. And it's so varied that you're always learning, kind of thing, and and therefore I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I want, because I love that. There's that challenge behind it. And so kind of got bit by the bug. And yeah, I mean, like, Bad Guys arrived kind of as those things do, with the universe kind of writing for you just to get your to give you that gift. But I stumbled upon the script, and so that first book, and Damon that I had been working with before, and we had a great connection, and ended up having a few months kind of free, which is very rare, and had that book and that script, and I was like, I know what to do with this, and started developing it with a friend, Luc Demarchelier, who ended up being my production designer on the film. So we did a quick trailer, we did a whole visual presentation, and pitched it to the studio, and they really liked it. And so, because it just fell in my wheelhouse, it was exactly what I knew what to do with this film, and specifically this franchise. And then went with it. But to me, the idea was like, directing was so much fun. I wanted to expand on it and just do a longer, feature. Not realizing how complex it is, frankly, because it's incredibly hard. But
so
it was.
When you were making The Bad Guys, was there any point where you thought you actually wanted to go back to being hands-on and get involved in the animation? Or did you manage to resist that?
Yeah. I actually, if you see the film, the only thing that I animated, and it was like probably last minute, was just because I had to at some point do something. There's 3 little birds at the end that fly through the screen during the end.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I managed to do. I wanted to do more, no time for it.
So it's sort of like your autograph on it, really.
Kind of like, yeah, like that's the last animation. Which is so funny.
There's a lovely sort of retro feel to the film.
Yeah.
It made me think of the sort of heist films and car chases that came from the 70s. Are you a fan of those films?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Yeah, I think there's a bit of that nostalgia clearly behind it. I mean, we were very influenced, obviously, by Quentin Tarantino and Soderbergh and Guy Ritchie, and but yeah, you're right. I mean, there's a bit of Bullet in it, and there's a bit of a the first Ocean 11, at the time.
Point Break's in there as well.
Point Break, yeah, for sure, absolutely. Which I love, but like, there's some Luc Besson. There's like, it's funny because you're able to label these influences that you have, but like over the course of like making the film, you realize, oh my god, but there's this as well, and then that I thought, it's kind of like buried deep in you, and then it just comes out, but so yes, definitely. I mean, it has a bit of that, it's a nod, it's an homage to the genre, and because I love that genre so much, like action, heist, caper. And it's also Mission Impossible. It's also Edgar Wright. I mean, there's all of this,
Absolutely. How much would you say, though, that this is a film for children or a film for adults? Because what we've just talked about is going to go straight over children's heads. They're not going to get it.
No, well, they won't get the reference, for sure not. They're gonna get so much fun nonetheless, but it's not like, for me, the idea was again to make it kind of a little bit of a gateway or an entry point into that kind of genre, because I don't think it's been done much in animation so far. It's not to that extent, at least. We've seen heist scenes before, but I think just really creating all of this as like thinking of the whole film as that, I think for me was great, because okay, how can we have the families and family audiences and younger audiences kind of like hooked into that kind of style? That was the point. But the great thing is that I think because we have it's such an homage and such kind of heavily referenced, the adults will find their own, moments in there, and they're gonna like this film for that as well, because there's that witty dialogue and fun action scenes and like kind of moments where you're like, oh, this is a Pulp Fiction and this is Ocean Eleven, whatever, And the kids who won't get that, but we have all the physical humor, the charm of those characters, the appeal, the fun animation and the gags, basically, But frankly, we previewed the movie, early on. Kids get it like that, The point of the film was to not talk down to the audience too much anyway. It was really just, okay, there's the message. Let's not be preachy. And there's, twists and turns and cons and counter cons and whatever, at the end. Let's really just make those, sometimes slightly complex to follow, and kids get it. Sometimes get it better than
you've got some great voice actors in there as well, like Sam Rockwell and Awkwafina, and really they've all done voice acting before as well. I wondered how difficult, or indeed how easy it was to get them on board.
It was actually rather easy, I gotta say. I think the idea or the direction we wanted to take with the film really spoke to them. The first one we approached was Sam, and when he saw the presentation, that I had cut that little trailer, I had some artwork, just pitching the film, the music. I was like, yeah, that sounds like a heaps of fun. I'll do it. But then when you have Sam Rockwell saying yes, I mean, like the rest of the cast was like, yep.
It just follows, doesn't it?
It's exactly, it's like snowball effect. Because he's so cool. He's such a great guy. And actors, comedians love him so much. And so, he was attached. So he kind of like, it was a tremendous help for us just to be able to gather a cast that's incredible. I'm so proud of this cast that we have. And they're such a great bunch, and even hanging out together, and there's that, you can see the energy between them. You can see that they love the project. They had tons of fun, even though it's a long for most of them who hadn't done animation, they realize, oh my God, that's such a long process, but they really liked it. They really just dove in it, just gave so much, so such generous people.
And it works really well. Pierre, it's been lovely talking to you. Thank you so much for your time.